Hello and welcome to day 191 of our Chronological Bible into Your Reading Plan. Today we have Isaiah chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8. I guess I should have said chapters with an S. Anyway, Isaiah chapter 5 to start us off. Here we go. Please let me sing to the one I love, a song for my loved one regarding his vineyard. My loved one has a vineyard on a fertile hill. And he dug it up and cleared it of stones, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a watchtower in its midst, and also made a winepress in it. And he waited for the yielding of grapes, but it yielded rotten ones. And now, O inhabitant of Jerusalem, and man of Yehudah, please judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Why, when I waited for the yielding of grapes, did it yield rotten ones? And now please let me inform you what I am doing to my vineyard, to take away its hedge, and it shall be burned, to break down its wall, and it shall be trampled down, and I lay it waste. It is not pruned or dug, and thorn bushes and weeds shall come up, and I command the clouds not to rain on it. For the vineyard of Yahuwah of hosts is the house of Yisrael, and the man of Yehudah is his pleasant plant. He looked for right ruling, but see oppression. For righteousness, but see weeping. Woe to those who join house to house, who add field to field, until there's no room, and you are made to dwell alone in the midst of the land. And my hearing, Yahuwah of hosts, truly many houses shall be a waste, big and fine ones without inhabitant. For 10 acres of vineyard yield 1 bath, and an omer of seed yields 1 ephah. Woe to those who rise early in the morning, pursuing strong drink, who stay up late at night. Wine inflames them, and the lyre and the harp, the tambourine and the flute, and wine are in their feasts. But they do not regard the deeds of Yahuwah, nor see the work of his hands. Therefore my people have gone into exile, because they have no knowledge, and their esteemed men are starved, and their crowd dried up with thirst. Therefore the grave has made itself wide and opened its mouth. Without law, their splendor and their crowd and their uproar, and he who is exulting within her shall go down into it. And man is bowed down, and mortal man humbled, and the eyes of the proud are humbled. But Yahuwah of hosts is exalted in judgment, and the Kadesh, again which means holy or set apart, the Kadesh, El, is Kadesh in righteousness. And the lambs shall feed in their pasture, and strangers shall eat in the waste places of the fat ones. Woe to those who draw wickedness with cords of falsehood, in sin as with wagon ropes, who are saying, let him hurry, let him hasten his work, so that we see it. And let the counsel of the Kadosh one of Yisrael draw near and come, so that we know. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and clever in their own sight. Woe to the mighty to drink wine, and brave men to mix strong drink, who declare right the wicked for a bribe, and the righteousness of the righteous they turn aside from him. Therefore as a tongue of fire devours the stubble, and the flame consumes the chaff, their root is as rottenness, and their blossom goes up like dust, because they have rejected the Torah of Yahuwah of hosts, and despised the word of the Kadosh one of Yisrael. Therefore the displeasure of Yahuwah has burned against his people, and he stretches out his hand against them and smites them, and the mountains tremble, and their carcass is as filth in the middle of the streets. With all this his displeasure has not turned back, and his hand is still stretched out. And he shall lift up a banner to the nations from afar, and shall whistle to them from the end of the earth. And see, they come with speed, swiftly. Not one of them is weary or stumbling, not one slumbers or sleeps. Not a belt shall be loosened on their loins, nor the thong of their sandals be broken. Their arrows are sharp, and all their bows bent. Their horses' hooves shall seem like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind. Their roar is like that of a lion, they roar like young lions, and they growl and seize prey and slip away, with no one to rescue. I feel like those last 2 verses rhymed. Quite fun. Verse 30, and in that day they shall growl over it as with the growling of the sea, and one shall look at the earth and see darkness and distress, and light shall be darkened by the clouds. Chapter 6. In the year that sovereign Uzziah died, I saw Yahuwah sitting on a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the Hekal, which is... Temple, okay. Just wanted to make sure. Because I know there is Hekal, which is temple, and then there is Mikdash, it's sanctuary. Those are the ones I mix up sometimes. Okay. Above it stood seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one cried to another and said, Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh is Yahuwah of hosts. All the earth is filled with his esteem. And the posts of the door were shaken by the voice of him who cried out, and the house was filled with smoke. And I said, Woe to me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the sovereign, Yahuwah of hosts. And one of the seraphim flew to me, having in his hand a live coal, which he had taken with the tongs from the altar. And he touched my mouth with it, and said, See, this has touched your lips, your wickedness is taken away, and your sin is covered. And I heard the voice of Yahuwah, saying, Whom do I send, and who would go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me. And he said, Go, and you shall say to this people, Hearing you hear, but do not understand, and seeing you see, but do not know. Make the heart of this people fat, and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and shall turn and be healed. Then I said, Yahuwah, until when? And he answered, Until the cities are laid waste and without inhabitant, and the houses are without a man, and the land is laid waste, a ruin. And Yahuwah has removed men far away, and the forsaken places be many in the midst of the land. But still there is a 10th part in it, and it shall again be for a burning, like a terebinth tree, and like an oak, whose stump remains when it is cut down. The Kadesh seed is its stump. Chapter 7. It came to be in the days of Ahaz, son of Jotham, son of Uzziah, sovereign of Yehudah, that Retzin, sovereign of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, sovereign of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to fight against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was reported to the house of David, saying, Aram has allied with Ephraim, and his heart and the heart of his people were moved, as the trees of the forest are moved with the wind. And Yahuwah said to Yeshayahu, Go out now to meet Ahaz, you and Shear-Yashub your son, at the end of the channel of the upper pool, on the highway of the launderer's field, and say to him, Take heed and be calm. Do not fear or be faint-hearted for these 2 stubs of smoking firebrands, for the fierce displeasure of Retzin and Aram, and the son of Remaliah. Because Aram, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have plotted evil against you, saying, Let us go up against Yehudah and tear it apart, and break it open for ourselves, and appoint a sovereign over them, the son of Tebael. Thus said the Adon Yahuwah, which again the Adon means master. It is not going to stand, nor shall it take place. For the head of Aram is Damasek, and the head of Damasek is Retzin. And within 65 years Ephraim is to be broken as a people. And the head of Ephraim is Shomron, and the head of Shomron is the son of Remaliah. If you do not believe, you are not steadfast. And Yahuwah spoke again to Ahaz, saying, Ask a sign for yourself from Yahuwah your Elohim. Make deep the request, or make it high. But Ahaz said, I do not ask, nor try Yahuwah. And he said, Hear now, O house of David, is it not enough that you weary men, that you weary my Elohim also? Therefore Yahuwah himself gives you a sign. Look, the maiden conceives and gives birth to a ben, which means a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. He eats curds and honey when he knows to refuse evil and choose the good. For before the child knows to refuse evil and choose the good, The land that you dread is to be forsaken by both her sovereigns. Yahuwah brings on you and your people in your father's house days that have not come since the day that Ephraim turned away from Yehudah, the sovereign of Ashur. And it shall be in that day that Yahuwah whistles for the fly that is in the farthest part of the rivers of Mitzrayim, or of Egypt, and for the bee that is in the land of Ashur. And they shall come, and all of them shall rest in the steep ravines and in the clefts of the rocks, and on all weeds and in all pastures. In that day Yahuwah shall shave with a razor hired beyond the river, with the sovereign of Ashur, the head and the hair of the legs, and also remove the beard. And it shall be in that day that a man keeps alive a young cow and 2 sheep. And it shall be that he shall eat curds because of the plenty of milk he gets, for everyone left in the land shall eat curds and honey. And it shall be in that day, every place where there were 1,000 vines worth 1,000 shekels of silver, let it be for thorn bushes and weeds. With arrows and bows one shall go there, because all the land shall be thorn bushes and weeds. And to all the hills which were filled with the hoe, you do not go for fear of thorn bushes and weeds, but it shall be for sending oxen to, and a place for sheep to roam. Chapter 8. And Yahuwah said to me, Take a large tablet, and write on it with a man's pen concerning Maher-shalal-Hashbaz, and let me take reliable witnesses to record Uriah the Kohen, which means the priest, and Zechariah, son of Yeberekyahu. And I went to the Nebiah, which is the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. And Yahuwah said to me, Call his name Maher-shalal-Hashbaz. For before the child knows to cry, My father and my mother, the riches of Damasek and the spoil of Shomron is taken away before the sovereign of Ashur. And Yahuwah spoke to me again, saying, Inasmuch as these people refuse the waters of Shiloah that flow softly, and rejoice in Retzin and in Remaliahu's son, now therefore see, Yahuwah brings up over them the waters of the river, strong and mighty, the sovereign of Ashur and all his esteem, and he shall come up over all his channels and go over all his banks, and he shall pass through Yehudah, he shall overflow and pass over, reaching up to the neck. And the stretching out of his wings shall fill the breadth of your land, O Emmanuel. Be shattered, O you peoples, and be broken into pieces. Give ear, all you from the far places of the earth. Gird yourselves, but be broken in pieces. Gird yourselves, but be broken in pieces. Take counsel, and it comes to naught. Speak a word, and it does not stand. For El is with us. For Yahuwah spoke thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, Do not say a conspiracy concerning all that this people call a conspiracy, nor be afraid of their threats, nor be troubled. Yahuwah of hosts, him you shall kadosh, which means you shall sanctify or set apart. Let him be your reverence, and let him be your awe. And he shall be for a mikdash, but a stone of stumbling and a rock that makes for falling to both the houses of Israel, as a trap and a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble and fall, and be broken and snared and taken. Bind up the witness, seal the Torah among my Talmudim, which is disciples, right? Mm-hmm. I just want to double check. Talmudim is indeed disciples. And I shall wait on Yahuwah, who hides his face from the house of Jacob, and I shall look for him. Look, I and the children whom Yahuwah has given me, for signs and wonders in Israel from Yahuwah of hosts, who dwells in Mount Zion. And when they say to you, Seek those who are mediums and wizards who whisper and mutter, should not a people seek their Elohim? Should they seek the dead on behalf of the living? To the Torah and to the witness, if they do not speak according to this word, it is because they have no daybreak. And they shall pass through it hard-pressed and hungry. And it shall be, when they are hungry, that they shall be wroth and curse their sovereign and their Elohim, looking upward. And they shall look to the earth and see distress and darkness, gloom of hard times, and be driven into thick darkness. And that concludes our reading for today. As always, thank you for joining. And I hope you've been reading along, and I encourage you to read for yourself. And peace and blessings and love to you. See you in the next one.